Let me take you behind the curtain for a moment. People often ask me, what exactly is heart work? Is it a framework, a model, a leadership program? The truth is, it's a philosophy, because after more than 2 decades in HR and organisational leadership, I realised something really powerful. The problem isn't capability, it's how we think about our role. Business has no profit without a pulse, and HR cannot lead the future of work without both courage and heart. In this episode, I'm unpacking the philosophy behind heart work and why it may just redefine how we show up as HR leaders. Welcome to Hard at Work with me, Trina Sunday. This space is for HR leaders who care deeply about performance and equally deeply about people. For more than 25 years, I've been asking one persistent question. What are the real conditions for happiness at work? Because when humans come first, something deeper shifts. How people show up, how leaders decide, and how work feels. Here, we explore what it really takes to lead with courage, compassion, and clarity, and we pull up a chair to the conversations HR leaders don't always get to have. There's heart here, but there's also depth. If you're ready to build workplaces where people and performance thrive side by side, you're in the right place. Let's get to the heart of it. My heart work is the philosophy redefining the future of HR. Because like I said, business has no profit without a pulse. If HR is experiencing an identity crisis, it's not because the profession lacks capability. It's because the profession has outgrown the way it's traditionally been defined. We have outgrown it. Across my career, leading in-house HR functions, working alongside organisations globally, I have seen extraordinary HR leaders hold organisations together during crisis, navigate cultural complexity, and quietly carry enormous responsibility. I've also seen those same leaders struggle with influence, visibility, and confidence in shaping strategic direction. But the gap is rarely skill, not skill in our craft anyway. The gap is philosophy, because how we think about HR shapes how we show up in HR. And that's why I created the Heart Work model. It's the philosophy behind heart work. It puts people at the centre of every organisation. Not as a wellbeing initiative, not as a culture slogan, but as a strategic leadership stance. It's not theory. This is a lived philosophy shaped by global experience, deep practice, and courageous leadership in action. I developed Heart Work after years of witnessing 2 parallel truths. Organisations cannot achieve sustainable performance without healthy, engaged, and supported people. And HR cannot drive meaningful organisational change without stepping into courageous influence and strategic leadership. So Heart Work exists for one reason, to ensure people and performance thrive together, side by side. And it's woven through everything I do, from executive advisory, leadership programs, global immersion experiences. It's not a model that sits in a slide deck, right? This is a philosophy designed to be lived, applied, and embedded into how organisations think, lead, and operate. So I wanted to share with you a bit more about it. There's 5 pillars of heart work that make it really powerful. They are interconnected pillars that redefine the role and impact of HR. The H, that's human-centred leadership. This pillar shifts leadership from authority to accountability for the human experience of work. It challenges organisations to move beyond productivity metrics alone and recognise that performance and well-being are deeply interconnected. Human-centred leadership asks leaders to see people not as resources to be managed, but as humans whose engagement, safety, and sense of belonging directly shapes your organisation's success. The E, equity and empathy in action. Equity is not about treating everyone the same. That's equality. This is about ensuring everyone has access to opportunity, safety, and voice, no matter where the starting position. Empathy moves organisations beyond policy compliance and into genuine cultural inclusion. Together, they build workplaces where fairness is visible, trust is strengthened, and people feel psychologically safe to contribute and grow. The A, well, that's adaptive strategy. The pace of organisational change has accelerated beyond what traditional HR models were ever designed to support. Adaptive strategy recognises that people strategy must be commercially grounded. It's got to be responsive and capable of evolving alongside business complexity. It positions HR not as an operational support function, but as a strategic driver of organisational resilience and agility. The R, resilient boundaries and bravery. HR leadership often requires holding tension between business outcomes and human impact. This pillar focuses on building the courage and emotional resilience required to lead difficult conversations, challenge harmful behaviours, and sustain leadership impact without burning out. It's about strengthening the leadership heart muscle needed for long-term influence and sustainability. And finally, the T, trusted influence. Influence is the currency of modern HR leadership. This pillar focuses on building credibility, strengthening executive relationships, and positioning HR as a visible, trusted advisor shaping organisational direction. It moves HR from that reactive problem solving into proactive leadership influence. And together, the 5 pillars reshape HR from a compliance function into a strategic, visible force that transforms organisations. They provide a really awesome philosophy that supports us as HR leaders stepping into greater influence, stronger commercial credibility, and deeper human leadership impact. But philosophy alone does not change organisations. Am I right? Belief alone does not shift behaviour. And insight alone does not create transformation. So it's got to become practice. And one of the most common challenges I see when organisations embrace human-first leadership thinking is this. They believe in it, they support it, they even talk about it, but they struggle to consistently apply it. Because transformation does not happen when organisations understand a philosophy. Transformation happens when leaders know how to translate belief into behaviour. When HR leaders can confidently move between strategic thinking, human connection, and practical execution, when leadership capability is built, not just discussed. That's what the next evolution of the heart work model becomes really critical. It's about bringing the philosophy to life. HR leaders need a framework that helps them to balance strategy with humanity, to translate insight into action, to embed leadership behaviour into organisational systems, and to build sustainable cultural change. Over time, that's what's led me to develop the Head, Heart and Hands framework, which sits alongside the heart work model. That's the operating system for behaviour change and leadership application. Because real transformation does not happen through hierarchy. It happens through integration. And if heart work defines the philosophy for the future of HR, Head, Heart and Hands defines how leaders bring that philosophy to life in real organisational environments. In next episode, I'll explore how behaviour change happens inside organisations and why sustainable transformation requires leaders to balance strategic clarity, human direction, and practical execution. Because change does not happen when organisations know what matters. Change happens when leaders know how to lead it. Heart work isn't something to admire. It's something to embody. Because philosophy only matters when it changes how we lead. If this way of feeling resonates, you feel that shift from compliance to courage and process to purpose, there are spaces where we bring this philosophy to life in 2026. The Virtual Game Changer HR Leader Program begins in April. That's where we translate heart work into influence, clarity, and strategic confidence. In July, the Heart at Work Unconference gathers changemakers in Perth, bold, human-first professionals ready to think differently together. And in November, our next Cambodia leadership experience will stretch you beyond your comfort zone in ways that flick a switch and propel you forward, not just as a HR leader, but as a human. If you're ready to step into the next evolution of your leadership, register your interest at trinasunday.com, because the future of HR won't be built by theory. It will be built by leaders willing to live it. Thanks for spending time with me. If this conversation challenged you, clarified something, or simply reminded you that you're not the only one holding the tension between people and performance, then it's done exactly what it was meant to. This work isn't easy, but it is necessary. HR has a new future, and it leads with heart. So if you found value here, subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Share this episode with someone who also believes that work can be better. And if you want to go deeper, you can explore the Heart Work model, the programs, and the growing community of HR leaders at trinasunday.com. Because when HR leads with clarity, courage, and compassion, It doesn't just change workplaces, it changes lives. Until next time, keep asking better questions, keep backing your voice, and keep putting humanity at the centre of performance. Let's keep heart at work.